So how do I make it work in my classroom? It's a great question. First, I like to think of it as a balancing act. I try and have two separate things. First is predictability. I want to make sure that I have a consistent structure for my students. I want to make sure that they know that every day they're going to see these items and in that order on my page. So that if they miss a day and they have to go back and look at it, they at least know what they're looking for. It's also nice for the students who are doing live learning with me to be able to predict what's happening. It tends to make them feel safe because right now so many of our students are feeling unsafe. So I use the consistent structures. I use completion rules so that they understand the order that things must be completed in. And I use consistent timing and feedback. Always making sure that the students know when they can expect feedback and being clear and following through when I say I'm going to do that. In the end, I'll be happy to show you how completion rules work if anyone needs some support on that. So here is an example of what my class might look like in a day. We have our launch, we have our objective. This today is a slideshow that has instructions and sometimes embedded videos and things like that. Variety of examples maybe of something I've talked about during the slideshow. The lesson, composition before and afters, adding photos, and then an exit, which was a tips and tricks Padlet share, and an extension assignment if we have any more of those 90 minutes or for them to do at home. And every class also has this folder, the in case you missed it. Within that in case you missed it is a video of the entire class, but also I break it down into smaller clips. Like if you're struggling with this, watch this clip. If you're struggling with that, watch this other clip. And it takes a lot of time to get it set up, but it really is there for the kids and it really is helping.
I guess I have one question, Becca, about those videos that you do, right? Where you kind of separate it out for students. Is that just a recording of your live lesson broken up, or how do you do that?
Well, it kind of depends. That's a great question, Nadia. And it was something that is in my later slide, but I'll talk about it now because this is a good spot for it. So one of the things that I do, yes, I always put in a recording of my live lesson if I remember to make the recording of my live lesson, which was a struggle the first few days, but figured out a strategy. Thank you, timers. But I don't think a kid is going to sit there and watch a 90-minute video. I just don't think that they will. I know that that's what we've been told to do. So I do include that. Some of them, like if I've had a really rich discussion within that class period with students who showed up synchronously, I will sometimes chunk that piece out using the editor in Screencastify and putting that in sort of labeled specifically. Sometimes I'll stick it into the slideshow itself, and sometimes I'll just leave it in the folder and say, hey, look at this if you're struggling. But a lot of my videos are things that I've created to help my students to understand how to do things. I think one of the struggles that I've noticed that my teachers have is that they think that our kids know how to add a picture to a Schoology discussion, or they know how to share a document or share their screen. And so the teaching of those digital skills needs to be really explicit. And if a kid isn't there that day for me to walk them through how to do it, I need to make sure they know. And so I have created a catalog of videos that my students have access to and that I put in specific days to help them with completing lessons. Since we have the full version of Screencastify, it has been a wonderful thing because you can actually mix more than one video in there. You can add all sorts of content in it, and it's really been fantastic. So I've really enjoyed having full access to that.